In the world as we know it, business organizations have staff, and staff, generally speaking, require training to do what the organizations need them to do. Sometimes the required training is commercially available and can be bought off the shelf. Or, equally as convenient, that training can be given by an external trainer specializing in that subject matter.
Yippee!
Often, however, for company-specific issues, the training has to be created. SMEs or subject matter experts from within the organization are usually tapped to create that training. Couple of problems with that scenario. SMEs, by definition, are experts in their field of specialty.
Thank you.
Not, however, in the field of training, design, and development.
Oops.
Pulling away your SMEs from their own job means that the work in which they're expert is not getting done.
Rats.
Not being specialists in training creation, in spite of all their hours of work, the training produced probably isn't going to be what it should be to really benefit the other staff who need to get some of that knowledge.
I don't get it.
Maybe you should be thinking about getting the help of an instructional designer. Working with an instructional designer streamlines the creation of online training, using a structured approach to utilize the strengths of those involved and freeing up the SME to do their regular job. Let's look at how that process could work for your organization. When working with an instructional designer developer, also known as an ID, to create your organization's online training, the workload is generally shared between your organization's SMEs and the ID. Between the two domains, there is the area of collaboration where both parties work together, ensuring the training being created accurately and engagingly captures the content necessary to improve your organization's operational efficiency. So what has to happen to get the ball rolling in this process? First, identify and validate your training topics. What is the knowledge or the skill lacking in this organization that's causing a pain point? This can be a variety of issues such as low productivity, inefficiencies, errors, waste, poor staff morale. Once you've identified your training topics, assign the best subject matter expert within your organization for that topic. This SME should know what materials and documentation on their topic is already available within the organization, assuming they exist, or from whom they can get them. Reviewing these materials, the SME highlights what is most salient for the planned training, indicating where improvements, changes, additions, or deletions will have to be made. Once the ID has had a chance to review this to come to the table fully prepared, the next step is the one-on-one SME interview with the ID. This is where the ID gains their understanding of the desired content and scope, the intended audience, the desired outcomes, as well as starting to envision how this can all be fleshed out and in what modality. At the end of this session, the SME hands over all the material the instructional designer will need. With the exception of communication when the ID requires clarifications, the SME is now freed up to turn their attention back to their usual jobs until the first review process. The ball is now in the ID's court and the design process begins, entailing a long list of activities and processes, concluding with the production of the storyboard for the training module. The storyboard, a visual walkthrough of the training, is then shared with the SME and/or other stakeholders to verify that the proposed design encompasses all necessary material and that the proposed design appropriately communicates the content. Discussion at this point clarifies any issues and should unearth any shortcomings of the design. Like they say in the movies, if anyone knows any reason why this design should not go into development, speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay, that's not really what they say in the movies, but you get the picture. Signing off on the storyboard is official validation of the design, and the process moves on to the development phase. The development phase is where all aspects of the training are turned from ideas to reality. The graphic design, creation of animations, transitions, development of assessment tools, the recording and editing of the narration, the syncing of the audio with the visuals, and much testing, concluding in a completed module. A link to this developed training is given to the SME and/or the stakeholders for a rigorous review process that, if all is well, results in official acceptance of the module, and a finalized version is published and ready for use by your audience of learners. But things rarely go that smoothly. What if, for instance, in the storyboard review process, major issues came to light, making the storyboarded design invalid for the desired training? This is the opportunity for the client's SME or anyone else with ownership of the training to dig into the design as presented and figure out how it needs to be changed to make the training the end users really need. These changes are detailed and documented in a formal revision request document, thereafter used as a working document informing the design. The revision request document is turned over to the ID, and each requested item is discussed to make sure everyone is on the same page. It's back to the design process to revamp and incorporate the requested changes. The revised storyboard is submitted again, and, assuming everything is as it should be, the revised design is validated and the development of the training begins. As before, a link to the developed training is given to the SME and/or stakeholders for a rigorous review process. This review should flush out any remaining issues in the module, from the smallest things like typos on screen to major inaccuracies in the content. These are captured and detailed in a revision request document, which is then fully discussed with the ID for mutual understanding of the required changes. With this in hand, the ID makes what is hopefully the last round of revisions. These are verified, and all things being as they should be, the training is validated and published for the upload and use with the learner. Done.